As you begin to listen, noticing how you are already comfortable, you might start to realize how easy it is to just let things unfold, like how your mind can effortlessly connect to what's being said, and as you relax, you might notice something interesting happening, how effortlessly you start to feel a little more open, a little more receptive to what's around you. Perhaps you're already beginning to notice how the world begins to feel just a little more interesting when you're aware of the little details that guide your attention. It's fascinating, isn't it, how certain things, like the way people speak, the way they act, can create a connection, even before words are fully spoken. And you may start to wonder, as you allow your thoughts to wander, how much you already know about the process, even though you might not realize it yet. Perhaps it's as if your mind is already starting to piece things together, connecting the dots and realizing there's something deeper happening, something subtle yet powerful. Think for a moment about the way you connect with people and how that connection can change everything. You see, the moment you align with someone, matching their pace, their energy, their rhythm, something inside them begins to shift. And in that moment, they can become more open, more trusting, more receptive to your words. And what's even more fascinating is, by simply matching their pace, you create an opening for yourself, a place where your influence starts to grow naturally. Now as you listen to the flow of words, imagine how that pace can change, how you can start to guide someone's thoughts just by knowing when to gently lead them in a new direction. It's not so much about control, but more about creating a path that they can follow. When they feel understood, seen and heard, there's a subtle shift, something that happens almost without them realizing it. As they align with you, you align with them, and everything begins to flow. And as you think about how easily people can be influenced, you might consider the 4 qualities that create this connection. This invisible thread of trust and influence. Attraction, when someone finds you appealing. When they want to impress you, their attention naturally sharpens. Their critical thinking softens. It's like they want to make sure that they're seen in the best light by you. Imagine that, just the idea of you being attractive or appealing, making everything you say more important. Then there's authority, when you carry yourself in a way that others instinctively trust, without needing to question. It could be your tone, your presence, the way you speak, or simply how your words align with their expectations. When you appear as an authority, a leader, they just follow, almost effortlessly. It's not something they have to think about. It's like their mind just accepts that you must know more, and they lean in to your words. As you continue to think, you might notice affinity, that feeling of being connected, of belonging, that sense of I'm like you and you're like me. When you become part of their world, when you mirror their values, their beliefs, their way of thinking, everything else begins to fall into place. Their mind becomes more open, more willing to align with your thoughts, your suggestions, because they feel that you are one of them. And doesn't it feel so powerful when that happens? When you simply connect, and in that connection, trust begins to grow. Finally, there's acquiescence. This fascinating state where people are willing to accept, to believe without resistance. They trust you enough. They don't feel the need to question. There's something about that, about the ease with which people can step into this state. It's almost as if they want to relax and let you lead them, to relieve themselves of the burden of thinking too much. When you combine all these elements, attraction, authority, affinity and acquiescence, you can create a dynamic where your influence feels completely natural, where the ideas and the thoughts you share resonate deeply, effortlessly, and as you reflect on how this works, perhaps you can begin to feel how these ideas fit together in your own experience. You might even notice how these subtle shifts, these small adjustments in your behaviour, your language, they can make all the difference in how others respond to you. When you think about that, you may realize you already use all these elements in your life, even if you're not fully aware of it. Now, imagine for a moment how it would feel to truly master this, how to pace with others so smoothly, to lead them gently, without resistance, knowing exactly when to shift, when to guide them in a new direction. Visualize yourself in this place, where the flow of your words, your presence, aligns perfectly with the person you're speaking to. Feel how the ease of rapport grows with every passing moment, how it feels almost effortless to influence, to guide, to lead. And just as you continue to listen to these words, you might start to realize how your own beliefs, your own thoughts, they can begin to shift, like the ebb and flow of the ocean. Each wave, each thought, carrying you forward towards something new, something more powerful. Perhaps in this space, you start to see how pacing and leading, they aren't just techniques. They're a way of being, a way of relating, a way of creating connection. The more you experience this, the more natural it becomes, until it's simply how you engage with the world. And as this understanding begins to sink in, notice how easy it becomes to integrate this idea, to embody this process, and carry it with you in everything you do. Because once you understand these subtle shifts, these connections, you realize they're always available to you, always within reach. So now, as you feel yourself drifting in the flow of these words, you might also feel how your understanding of this process, it continues to deepen naturally, almost as if your mind is finding new pathways, new ways to integrate these patterns. And you know, whenever you choose, you can use them to create deeper connections, stronger influence, and greater success. And as you step into this, you might begin to see how simple it is, really, how powerful, how easy it becomes once you trust in this flow. Because once you start pacing with others and leading them gently, the possibilities for connection and influence, they're endless. And you might already know, in this space, you've already begun to lead yourself to even greater clarity, greater understanding.